Merrimack TV is committed to our community. From gavel-to-gavel coverage of town and school board meetings to updates on town services and projects, we aim to keep you connected.
Good morning, I'm Kyle Fox, Public Works Director for the town of Merrimack.
Hi, I'm Diane Trippett. I'm the town clerk tax collector for the town of Merrimack.
I'm Captain Matt Tarleton with the Merrimack, New Hampshire Police Department.
And keep the public informed of every motion.
All those in favor signify by saying aye. Aye.
And many moments, so you can be confident that we're here for you. Thanks for watching. Stay connected. Follow Merrimack TV on Facebook.
Thank you. Good evening. It is 6:32 and we'll call this meeting to order. This is the March 15th, 2021 meeting of the Merrimack Conservation Commission. Due to COVID-19 and in accordance with Governor Sununu's emergency order number 12, pursuant to Executive Order 2020-04, extended by Executive Order 2021-02, the Commission is authorized to meet electronically. As stated on the agenda, the meeting is being aired on Merrimack TV Channel 20. Telephone access is available for members of the public wanting to provide comment. The number is listed on the agenda for tonight's meeting. It's 312-626-6799. Also identified on the agenda was the opportunity to provide public comment and to have that submitted before the start of this meeting at community development at merrimacknewhampshire.gov. And finally, before we start, as a matter of procedure, if each member of the commission would state for the record why they're participating electronically, where they are, if anyone is with them, and whether or not they can hear the proceedings. I'll go first. My name is Stephen Perkins. I'm participating electronically due to the pandemic. I'm at an office where I work. I'm alone in this office, and I can hear the proceedings. Mike Laver, you want to go next?
Hi, I'm Mike Laver. I'm participating electronically due to COVID-19. At home in this room alone, and I can hear the proceedings fine.
Thank you, Mike. Gina?
Hi, I'm Gina Rosati. I am participating electronically from home. Attendance in person is not reasonably practical due to COVID-19. I am alone in the room I am in, and I can hear the proceedings.
Fantastic. Cindy?
Cindy Glenn, participating electronically because of COVID. I am alone in this room and I can hear the proceedings.
Thank you very much. Gage?
Gage Perry. I'm participating electronically due to COVID-19 restrictions. I'm alone and I can hear everybody just fine.
Wonderful. Eric?
I'm Eric Starr. I'm participating electronically due to COVID-19. I am alone in my room and I can hear everyone just fine.
And Tim?
Yeah, hi, I'm Tim Tanhave. I am participating electronically due to concerns with COVID-19. I am alone in the room and I can hear everyone just fine.
Fantastic. Thank you, Tim. Tim, would you sit in as a voting member, please?
Okay.
Thank you. Moving on, for putting the first item on the agenda is public comment. And I do not see any members of the public wishing to provide comment to tonight's agenda items. Public hearings, we had none. Appointments, there were also none. Statutory business, there is none tonight. So that brings us to new business. I'm going faster than my notes will allow. The first item up under new business is Salhegan Rail Trail. And Kyle, you were, yeah, I do see you on here. I knew I saw you before. Kyle, would you like to join us and talk about where we left off?
Before Kyle starts, do we need to take this off the table? Do we need a vote to take it off the table?
I think you're right, Gina. We probably do.
All right, I'm going to make a motion to take from the table the Salhegan River Trail project.
I will second the motion and thank you, Gina, for saving me from myself. Okay, now Kyle, I'll turn it over to you again.
Thank you, Chairman Perkins and other commissioners. Thanks. I appreciate you having me tonight to talk about the Sauhegan River Trail project. Tonight's discussion is a little different than the one we had previously, where we were talking about potential mitigation projects associated with the project. Tonight's discussion, I wanted to focus on the wetland application, which was submitted by our consultant, Quantum Construction Consultants. And I hope you guys have received a copy of that for your review. So what I thought I would do is talk you through the project a little bit, discuss the wetland impacts for the project specific to the permit. If you'll indulge me, I'd like to share my screen and bring up the wetland impact plan for the project.
Yes, please. Please do.
Can everybody see that? Okay, great. So what we have here, oops, sorry about that, is the wetland impact plan and an overall plan of the project. The Sauhegan River Trail project started way back in 2009 with the town council's adoption of the pedestrian trail master plan that was created by the town center committee in association with the iTrack project. And this was one of the projects that came out of that master plan. What the project seeks to accomplish is connectivity in the trail systems from the town center area to points west of Daniel Webster Highway and up to the Everett Turnpike and points west of there. What it does is it originates in Watson Park, which is the top right portion of your screen. You can see the yellowish portion is the proposed trail. This is where it connects to the existing sidewalk in Watson Park. There's kind of a loop sidewalk that was constructed as part of a TE project that was done by the town a few years ago. So that's where the project will originate. It'll come down in the grassy area of the park to an area right here is, excuse me, an existing chain link fence that kind of closes off the junkier area of the park right now. It's going to come through that chain link fence along the overgrown areas and into what we call the old stock pens that were used primarily for the previous uses of the Watson Park parcel before it became donated to the town. In this sluiceway is kind of interesting. It used to carry water under the Chamberlain Bridge, which is right here, outside of the channel that the river is flowing. So the Chamberlain Bridge has a section here that carries the Sauhegan River, and then a second arch here that carried the sluiceway. So the project proposes to carry the trail underneath Daniel Webster Highway, which will promote safe passage east and west across the highway, through the old waterway, sluiceway, over to here, adjacent to the Merrimack Fire Department, which is this building right here. Excuse me. And then it's going to cross the impoundment, and this is where the wetland impacts are. So this will be the primary focus of tonight's discussion. And then across the impoundment to the wooded area where it picks up and meets existing trails. Let me zoom in on that area a little bit if I can. So this last 260 feet of the trail, which is kind of in this hatched area, is what is located within the wetland impacts. This area used to be full of water when the Pennachuck Dam existed, but when the dam was removed a number of years ago, this impoundment area actually became dry, and it's currently classified as a wet meadow. There's a single stream that comes from the Woodbury Street area and over in that area that collects water from stormwater, brings it through a channel that comes through here, then eventually to the Sauhegan River. We're proposing to put a culvert to carry that stream crossing here for any backflow that would be blocked up by the trail. And then the trail itself is going to be a 5-foot wide path with 4-to-1 side slopes to allow stability and safe passage. There will be a chain link fence on either side of the trail to keep pedestrians from falling off of the slope or from getting into the wetlands. And one nice feature, it's needed for the practicality of construction, but it'll be a nice benefit, is that we've got this little trail up here, which is going to go up to the fire department property. So we'll be using that for construction access, but we're going to leave it as a formalized access so that the fire department has increased access to the trail system should anyone be caught in 80 acres or Wildcat Fall Conservation Area or back behind the high school or other areas up in the trail system west of here. The wetland impacts for the project are about 7,600 square feet, 6,200 of which is permanent impacts. The rest are temporary impacts. As we designed the project, we did look at a number of mitigation techniques to try and limit the impact of the wetlands. Those are outlined in the wetland application itself, but I'll touch on a few of them right now. The first one is, of course, the do nothing alternative. We deem that impractical because the purpose of the project is connectivity from Watson Park to the trail system west. So doing nothing would not accomplish the goals of the project. A second alternative that was looked at was doing a boardwalk. And I know some of the town center committee folks wanted that idea as well. So we explored that. The problem we ran against was the requirement, because we're using federal dollars in this project, the project itself needs to last 75 to 100 years. So to build a boardwalk that would last that time would require drilling concrete shafts, putting in some steel bents to kind of hold everything together. And it would be a pretty rugged boardwalk system. The net effect would have been a much higher cost, which would make the project undoable within our budget. But it also would have the same wetland impact because of all the machinery you'd have to get out there. And it would really occupy the same footprint of impacts that we currently are proposing. The third mitigation technique, which we actually did use, was originally this project was approved through our TAP grant as a pedestrian way, which federal highway requires it to be 10 feet wide with 6-to-1 side slopes. Working with our partners at Federal Highway and DOT, we reclassified it as a pedestrian trail, which allowed us to narrow the trail up to a 5-foot configuration with 4-to-1 side slopes, which is what we're presenting here. And going from 10 feet wide with 6-to-1 slopes down to a 5-foot trail with 4-to-1 slopes greatly reduced the wetland impact. So I guess that's the major components I wanted to cover in the permit. I'd certainly welcome any questions you might have on the project.
Kyle, what's the surface going to be? Just compacted gravel or what?
Yeah, it'll be a compacted gravel surface.
Well, I'm just curious because you said you're leaving a trail for fire, but it's a 5-foot trail, so it's not really big enough for an emergency vehicle. So how would they get down there, like on an ATV or something? If they
Yeah,
need-
they have some smaller vehicles that they can run,
Okay.
and just being able to get the manpower down there easier.
Yeah.
Right now, if they tried to get down that slope, it would be a pretty rough sled for them.
Yeah. Cool. Thank you.
Sure.
So what are the temporary impacts?
So the temporary impacts are just the slope work tie-in, and just the equipment being able to work in the area to finish the project. And of course, around each end of the culvert, where they'll have to do some excavation to get the culvert in. But you'll notice in the bottom right-hand corner of the screen, the temporary impacts are pretty small, just 1,400 square feet.
Will the town be maintaining this over the years, Kyle?
Yes, it'll be Public Works maintaining this trail in perpetuity. That's one of the requirements of any of these TAP grants, is that the projects need to be maintained by the town.
So where does that maintenance end going west?
So at this point, it would end at the tree line, right here. That's the limit of the project. So as you go across the impoundment, you look over, and I think there's some signs there that say future site of trail. I forget exactly what they say. That would be the extent of the expected maintenance.
Yeah. So Kyle, we didn't get any preliminary information on this. We haven't seen any of these pages, and now I can see there's 167 of them. Any way you can show us the first few pages?
Sure. So this is the wetland application itself.
Oh, I see. Yeah.
Is there any particular part of the permit that you wanted to see, Tim?
Well, so this may be the last wetland permit that I'm viewing while I'm a member of the council, at least during this period that I'm a member of the commission, sorry. So I just wanted to scroll through the actual wetland application just so people could see it, and if they had any questions, so they could ask about them.
Sure. Yeah, I was hoping you guys would have had a chance to see this, but maybe you didn't.
Well, I think there was some confusion as to what they should provide us. And unfortunately, my email was really messed up over the last few days. In fact, I'm using the web interface in order to get to the email right now because my other ways aren't working. So, so Sharon tried to get some clarity, but I wasn't able to really help out there. So,
sure.
I took a ride down and talked to Sharon, and she showed me the book that it's in.
Yeah.
She determined that the file is just too big to email to everybody. I mean, maybe once the new email system is in place, it would be able to be emailed, but it's pretty hard to see it on the computer anyway.
Yeah, it is. Yeah, usually what I've done in the past when we were meeting in person is preliminary. We would give the first few pages of it, of the actual application, probably right about to the point where you get the natural heritage stuff coming in. So you get the questions, you get the square footage, and then usually what I tried to include when we were meeting in person was an overall drawing of the project, kind of like what you were showing us before, Kyle, so people could ask questions. So.
Sure, I'd be happy to run through the first part of the permit.
If you don't mind,
no, not at all.
Don't want to take all your time, but.
Yep, no, that's fine. So this is the standard dredge and fill wetland permit application for the state of New Hampshire. This is a full permit application. We did not meet the qualifications for an expedited permit due to the extent of the work, and that it's a priority resource area, a PRA. So you'll see that's the very first question. Does the property contain a PRA? And the answer is yes, of course. Does it qualify for impact classification adjustment? Yes.
Yeah, when you say yes, of course, that's because of the river?
Because it's a wet meadow.
Yeah, okay.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah. Yeah, and the RSA was there too on your screen if folks were curious to look up the RSA behind this. Yeah. Okay.
And one thing I can do, I can probably do this for you guys tomorrow. I can put this on our website, and that way you'll be able to access it from the website. So in the coming days, if you get a chance to look at it, it is that is one problem with not being able to gather as a group. When you get a binder that looks like this, it's difficult to share with everybody.
Yeah.
But we can put it on the website and make it accessible for you guys. And I'll send you a link, Steve, once I get that up there.
Thank you.
Floodplain wetland contiguous to a tier 3 or higher water course. That's a yes because of the Sauhegan River. Designated prime wetland or duly established 100-foot buffer, no. Sand dune, tidal wetland, tidal water, or undeveloped tidal buffer zone, no. Is the property within a designated river corridor? Yes, of course, again, the Sauhegan River. And a copy of this permit also went to the Sauhegan River Local Advisory Committee. So we'll be looking for their input on the project as well. And for anyone who doesn't know, any project within a quarter mile of the Sauhegan River is required to go to the Local Advisory Committee. And same thing with the Merrimack River. Needs to go to the Merrimack, Southern Merrimack River Local Advisory Committee. It's not a dredging project. Is there a potential to impact impaired waters? Nope. So the project description, as I kind of said earlier, but I'll read the official.
You don't have to, Kyle.
Okay.
Yeah. Yep.
Project location is 8 Woodbury Street, 432 Daniel Webster Highway. The nearest water body is the Sauhegan River. The applicant is Merrimack, Town of Merrimack Public Works Department. Samuel Cheney, he's the consultant who put the permit together for us. And of course, a big part of the property and really the wetland impacts are on school district property. So they're listed on here as well. The next piece is about resource specific criteria. And I'll let you guys read this. This is a bit of a different dredge and fill permit than we're used to seeing, in that there's a special piece of it for trails, paths, and boardwalks. So you'll see later on in the permit, there's a special section of the wetland permit from DES for those kinds of projects. Here's a question about avoidance and minimization. That's where I was talking about the project alternatives we went through, and the choices to minimize wetland impact as much as we could while still completing the intent of the project.
Yeah, so if I could interrupt for a second, Kyle.
Sure, please.
So you know, this part of the permit is where the Conservation Commission could argue that the applicant chose the wrong path.
Absolutely.
our comments to DES could be, well, we actually prefer if they chose the no impact method, or they chose yet a different method, and we could provide that input, and DES would want to hear that from the Conservation Commission. So
Absolutely.
So it's good to know places where you could make comments, and they would like to have that input. So, because we're local, if this is going to the Portsmouth office, they may not be that familiar. So,
Where would that be, Tim? That would be in this section 9.
Yeah, well, where he talked about earlier during the discussion, he talked about some of the avoidance and minimization. So section 8, what you would want to do is hear from the other a particular applicant and understand what it is they're doing for avoidance or minimization. So.
Okay, I see.
Yeah, and for RSA, Tim, I kind of looked up earlier just so I'd have it, where the conscom's role is in the permit process. So if you guys look at RSA 482-A:11, that first three paragraphs really talks about what the conscom's role is in reviewing wetland permits, and the reason why you guys are an important part of the review process. Nobody, like Tim said, nobody knows the town's wetland areas like you guys do, and that's a really important and vital role in any project in town, whether it's public or private. This next section, section 9, is mitigation requirement. This kind of touches back to when I met with you folks the last time. We had a pre-application meeting with the folks up in Concord who run the Aquatics Resources Management Program to get some guidance on what they were looking for. It was following that January 7th meeting that I came and spoke to you folks. Since then, and it's in the Welland application that we submitted, was 2 parcels that you guys had recommended, being the 1 acre parcel just upstream from the project that could potentially turn into conservation property, or the property over by Riverside Drive. So those were both submitted as possible projects for mitigation. We've to date not heard back from DES on those proposals, but by checking this box, it says that we did submit materials for mitigation, and that we're prepared to work with the mitigation folks to accomplish what we need to, and whether that's the projects proposed by the commission or a payment in lieu of a project, that remains to be determined. Here's the specific impact page. This is obviously really important. So as I mentioned, the bulk of the area that we're crossing is considered a wet meadow. So there's 5,700 square feet of permanent impacts to the wet meadow, and over 1,400 square feet of temporary impact. And then there's some smaller impact to the intermittent stream. That's where the culvert crossing is. So again, 427 square feet of impact and 36 linear feet. That's the length of the pipe. For a total of 6,179 square feet of permanent impact and 1,441 square feet of temporary impact. Using those numbers, we calculate the fee, and the fee for us to submit the project to the state is $3,048. So just signature pages. This is directions for the town city clerk. So just going through the process. So our consultant develops the wetland application, brings the copies to the town clerk, and the town clerk distributes them to the Conservation Commission, the town council, and the planning board.
Yeah, that's good, Kyle. I just wanted you to touch on the first few stuff.
Okay.
First few pages there. Thank you.
Okay.
Does anyone have any questions or comments for Kyle?
Yeah. So Steve, this is where, we would formulate those comments, provide them to the applicant, have the feedback, the discussion. Hopefully the applicant would agree with our comments, so we can work to a conclusion on that. Also, this would be the time that we would take comments and draft a letter to provide to DES that says, hey, we looked at the application and these are our comments. Our comments could simply be that we have no concerns. They can be that straightforward, or they could, be more extensive, like I talked about earlier, suggesting a different mitigation option. If an applicant came and said they wanted to put money into the ARM fund versus doing a project, we might at that point say, hey, hold on, we think we have something that fits the bill. We'd like you to consider this, that kind of stuff as well. So I won't speak for the rest of the commission, but I think it's pretty straightforward. I don't see anything that I would raise a concern over. So, and we are familiar with the project. So,
And if I could just jump off of that for a moment, Tim, the way that the RSA rules work is DES will wait for your response. If they get no response, they're going to wait 40 days before they act on the permit. If they get your response sooner than that, then they'll act on the permit sooner. So we hope whether you give tacit approval to the project or have comments on the project, we would appreciate you being able to supply some comments to DES either way, just so they can move forward with the review.
Yeah, in the past, I provided those comments to Portsmouth office. I'm not sure they're the same office now. It's been a while since we've had one of these, so.
Yeah, I talked to my consultant today. I forget, he didn't say which office. He gave me the contact person's name, and I can certainly get that to you.
Yeah, I would get that to Steve.
Okay.
Yeah, we used to send them to Eben Lewis.
Right. Yeah, and he's moved on.
Yeah, I thought so.
Yeah.
So Steve and Gina, I can forward you a copy of a previous email notice. You can look at it. It's going to be very similar to what you do for the planning board. You want to have the application date and people information on it. So.
Okay, if you send me something, then I'll draft something up. Steve can take a look at it and forward it from there.
Yeah. Wow, it looks like it's been a long time since we've done something like this.
I don't know. I don't have anything further for Kyle. Anyone else?
Thank you, Kyle.
Well, thanks, Kyle, for joining us and presenting this, walking
Sure,
us
I appreciate your time, and we're really excited about this project and hope you guys are too.
Yeah.
As are we. Thanks.
Yeah, absolutely. Gateway. It's a gateway into the rest of the land.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
All right. Thank you so much.
Take care, Kyle. See ya.
Kyle.
Hey, Kyle.
The next item we had on the agenda for new business was the New England Mountain Bike Association, and I think I saw a familiar name join our session. Hey, good evening, Matt.
Good
It's like
evening.
old time. He's right back.
Yeah, it was funny. The last piece you guys were covering, I had quite a bit of experience with that.
Well, that's why I said come at 5:45, because I mean at 6:45, because I figured you'd be interested in listening to some of that.
I'm glad it's finally coming to coming to life.
Yep.
Well, we've seen some information on this. Did you want to talk to us about or take us through this, Matt?
Yeah, I guess, still spending a bit of time in the woods in Merrimack. I kind of wanted to tell you, as the Conservation Commission, what the New England Mountain Bike Association can help you folks out with. And sort of just want to, let you know that we're available to assist with trail maintenance. And, when I was part of this commission, it was a little bit easier to have a conversation about, like the snow grooming that we had historically done. But this year I realized that the volunteers that were doing the grooming probably hadn't had a conversation with you folks to let you know, the what's, the whens, and how, and things like that. So I just wanted to let you know that we, we're available to assist with the grooming and small trail maintenance items. But I also want to make sure that, we're out there doing this stuff, and sort of give a conduit of, how we can communicate, and how best to let you know what we're doing, and once we've completed something, so that you can check it off your list too.
Yeah, I just signed up on the NEMBA Facebook page, so I can see what's going on, at least on there. And likewise, I appreciate that you're coming to us to tell us how you can be helpful to us, but let us know how we can be helpful to you too, because I know you guys are out riding the trails, and sometimes you want to have events. So you can let us know how we can help you too. And it will be, it's a good relationship to have, because we'll help each other.
Yeah, I did ask for some member feedback. And, a lot of people, as you know, go to that Horse Hill parking lot because it's so nice and open, and, there's maps there for people. There aren't a lot of trail networks that have call them amenities that Horse Hill has. So I think that's why there's a lot of traffic there. We recently did a post to let people know that, this is the time of year that you shouldn't be out there riding. You should be letting the trails dry and things like that. So we've sent those notifications out to our membership. But yeah, I guess, the feedback from the group is, Horse Hill is such a great place for beginners to go and ride. And, it's a comfortable place. The maps, like I said, are very, good. They can take them with them, and they actually integrate to an app that a lot of the riders use called Trail Forks. So they can, know where they're going just on their phone. And even when you come into an intersection, your phone will tell you, take a left here, if you've pre-mapped your route. So it's really nice, and the map helped a lot with that. NRPC actually integrated that into a system called OpenStreetMaps, and then Trail Forks pulls from OpenStreetMaps. I think that's the sequence of events. So everything was already pre-installed for them just because of NRPC's involvement.
So Matt, with the recent windstorms and stuff, a lot of trees have come down across some of those biking trails in Greater Woods. Did you typically clear all those yourself when you were?
Yeah, and I just got through last week cleaning them all up again, and now this weekend.
Yeah, I've been out there quite a few times too, and there's, I mean, like Millipede has a ton of trees across the the north side, the North Trail.
Okay.
And that the one that you cut up by the Outlook is actually still across the trail because it was snow covered when you cut it, and so it, you couldn't tell where the trail was when you cut it. But yeah, so if you do cut some, if you do go out there, let me know, and I'll let you know if I go out there and cut any stuff out there.
Okay. Definitely. It's tough this time of year because I try to stay off the trails because they're just mud, and but if there are trees down, I almost feel like it's a good thing. It's hopefully it'll keep other people off them too.
Yeah, it's going to take a while.
Yeah.
And the thing is that, I mean, obviously you're not on the commission anymore, so we need to figure out a way to get these trees off the trails without, calling Matt all the time, because that's not your job. So I guess one of the things is I need to go through the volunteer list. If you have any input on the best way to tell people to clear the trails, or I'm a little leery of just saying to people, sure, go out with a chainsaw and cut trails, because I don't know what these people's skill set is. You don't want to be out there. You're Matt, but for the average Joe that's not used to going out there by themselves, we don't want somebody severing an artery out there by themselves.
Yeah, we have, I think we have 7 members that are state certified cutters, and those are the only people that we want going in the woods with chainsaws. So a lot of times it's, people with hand saws and things like that, because, it fits in a bike pack. And you'd be surprised what some of the hand saws can take care of. You can get through a pretty good sized tree with a hand saw. But our organization also has, I'm trying to look at the name of it. There's an app that one of our members created, and when you're on a trail and you come across a tree, you mark it, and that GPS pin goes to the maintenance folks, anybody who's signed up on the maintenance side of the application. So I have gotten a couple of notifications after the windstorm about stuff in Greater Woods, and a bunch in Amherst too. But yeah, so there is an application, and there are people on the maintenance side of the application that do get notified. And the application actually, when you drop the pin on the tree, you can qualify it with like how the diameter of it and things like that. So you can kind of guess, I'm probably going to need a saw if it's 18-inch tree.
Can anybody get to that, or is it?
Yeah, it's it is an open app. I haven't downloaded it yet, so.
When you get a chance, if you could send us an email or something with the contact info or something like that, that'd be great.
All right.
Well,
I hear your new email system is
wonky.
Magnificent. Is it still the same address?
Yes.
Okay.
Yeah.
All right. When I find out what it's called, I'll definitely send it to you all.
You said something about some of your people are state certified. So I'm wondering if we want to get some of our Conservation Commission members state certified for taking trees down.
You have to go take the class.
Yeah. If you've got somebody willing to pay and have 3 days of their life tied up into a forestry class.
Okay. So
Yeah,
that's
it's a good class. It's a worthwhile class. It's just it's definitely something that's a commitment.
Okay. All right.
Yeah, it's very serious too. my class started with 11 people, and they actually asked 3 people to leave before the end of the weekend.
Wow.
Because they're dangerous themselves?
Yeah, they just didn't think that they were, ready to handle a chainsaw in the woods by themselves. So.
Well, that was smart of them.
Yeah, it was an eye opener. I mean, when they asked the first person to go, I was like, okay, I can see that she had no business holding a chainsaw. But then, once they had a couple of us take some trees down, and they didn't like the way one person was doing it, and they said, yeah, you're out on the second day. And they didn't refund these people's money either, which is kind of a head scratcher. But yeah, they're very serious with with the classes. So, but it's a great class. You really know what you're doing. They teach you how to take stuff lying on the ground already, but they also teach you how to take down standing trees.
Okay.
Which that's the hard part. So. I think the waiting list is pretty long too for it. So I agree, people that use a chainsaw in the woods should know these skills, but it's a pretty big hurdle. It's not cheap either. I think it's $600.
That's a lot.
Yeah, but it goes to the state. It's and it's the state forester, one of the state foresters that's teaching the class.
Yeah.
So.
Okay.
That's why an email to Kyle is sometimes a better option.
So, like, how far will the town go out? I mean, I've hiked out there, like, all the way across Skyline and stuff, removing stuff. And I mean, is a town employee going to walk 2 miles to cut, 18-inch pine that's laying across the trail?
Create a work order and put it in and see what happens, right? Offer to guide them into the trail so they can do the work, right?
It's worth trying.
Yeah.
All right. So does NEMA have anything coming up that you were planning on using the trails on?
No, in fact, we're following the governor's orders pretty closely, and we're not even leading group rides yet this year.
Okay.
I don't know when we will. So we definitely don't have any events coming your way. Okay.
Well, let us know when you do.
Any updated information on e-bikes and the position of NEMBA on e-bikes?
The position has changed. There was a position presented in, I don't want to guess, I think it was 2012, at ballpark. I don't know the exact year, but it has recently changed, and I'm not going to recite it, but it's a little bit of a different position, and it mentions only level 1 bikes. And it really puts the onus on, if the bike is allowed on the property owner. The stance that was taken previously was a little bit, of advocacy, because, the New England Mountain Bikers Organization is an advocacy organization. We're, advocates for mountain bikers. We sort of drew a line back in the first position saying, we're New England Mountain Bike Association. We talk only and advocate only for human-powered mountain bikes. We don't advocate for e-bikes. So the position has changed a little bit where, we're trying to actually help the folks who want to ride e-bikes create a advocacy organization so that there can be advocates for e-bikes if they want to have an advocacy organization. So we're more of offering guidance, but we're not saying that, we want to encompass all mountain bikes.
Yeah.
You know, NEMBA is human powered mountain bikes. Yeah, I think there's still a little bit of unknown, and you know, there's not enough. There's plenty of research that says, you know, on a natural surface trail, hikers and mountain bikers, you know, have the same types of effects on the trail. There's not a lot of research of, you know, how does an e-bike, you know, impact a trail. There's just not a lot out there yet. So I think that's why that, you know, there's still a line in between human powered and e-bikes.
Have you ridden an e-bike yet, Matt? I'm sorry.
No.
Okay. I was wondering if you had any opinion on yourself on how they stack up to a mountain bike.
Yeah, I've been on rides where, you know, I've been riding with a group of people, and, you know, 10 minutes into the ride, we're at an intersection talking, and I look down and realize that somebody's on an e-bike. And it's like, wow, you know, I just rode for 45 minutes in this group and didn't realize somebody was on an e-bike. And I was really surprised, because I figured, you know, they're going to sound like a dirt bike, and they're going to, you know, person's going to be flying faster than everybody else and things like that. But I think there's, for some people, it's something that, you know, maybe there's a place for it. For me, no. I mountain bike for exercise, and, you know, it's like, you know, it'd be like people that run, you know, bringing a scooter with them for a little bit of the run. You know, it just doesn't make sense. Yeah, I don't have a lot of knowledge, though. I haven't spent time on them. I haven't done any research myself. And you don't see a lot of them. There are not a lot of them out there, because the cost is prohibitive, I think, in a lot of cases. I was at a local shop and saw one. It was $16,000, and I was like, wow, there's not going to be a long line for that thing. Because right now you can hardly get a mountain bike in a bike shop. So occasionally, you know, you go into a bike shop and there'll be, you know, hardly any bikes on the floor, and then there's one of these things, and it's like, wow, you can buy one of these, and it's like, oh wow, okay, $16,000. That's why it hasn't flown out like everything else.
Yeah, there's a couple of shops opening up along some of the rail trails. The Salem to Derry trail is going to have a shop right on one of the ends, so you can rent them and take it out on the pavement. So
yeah, I heard rumors of that.
Yeah.
Are you going to try that new rail trail that they're doing from DC to Washington State?
Me?
Yeah.
No, I'm not a rail trail guy.
Okay.
A little too paved for me.
Yeah. Oh, well. Well, I'm glad that you came by, Matt. I mean, we should probably make this a yearly thing, just so that you can kind of keep us updated on what you guys are doing and, you know, what you need. And
yeah, I mean, same goes for you. When you guys, you know, have a need for, you know, a trail maintenance, something like that, feel free to, you know, reach out to me, or, you know, now that you're on the Facebook page, you can actually, you know, say something there if you can't get a hold of me.
okay.
I'm sure you'll have, you know, you'll have open communication for sure.
Well, I mean, I'm not out on the trails very often, but when I am out on the trails and I see someone on a bike, I ask them if they're with NEMBA and thank them, because I know you guys do work hard in the trails. So, you know, and we, you know, we're a small group, so, and I was amazed, you guys have quite a following on NEMBA, so. It's like, what, 14,000 people follow your page?
Yeah, that's just our chapter, which is just Southern New Hampshire.
Wow. That's a lot.
Yep.
Okay.
We're going to see a lot of used bikes in this summer because everyone's giving them up to go to the beach and other places.
I'll tell you what, I've never seen the used bike market the way it is, because you can't buy a new bike because they're already sold. The bikes are sold until like 2022 at this point.
Wow.
So bike shops are struggling, but you know, they're doing a lot more maintenance on older bikes. And even when somebody puts an older bike for sale, they sell so quickly now. It's funny. I've never seen anything like this before. But it's funny. It took a pandemic to people to realize how fun being in the woods on a bike is. I never saw it coming, but it's the most popular thing out there right now.
It's like that everywhere. Biking, hiking, walking. People are outdoors.
Kind of nice. Yeah, when the winter rolls around and we bring the groomer back out, we have, like the town of Amherst, they actually have their own groomer. And the groomer that, has historically been with me, that one kind of goes around to other parks. It goes to, Musquash and Londonderry, and it goes to Greater Woods and Horse Hill. The only reason why it goes to those places is because NEMBA has agreements that we're allowed to groom in the town of Merrimack and Londonderry and Wyndham. So if you want a agreement, like a written agreement, just let me know.
Excellent. Well, does anyone have any other questions?
Yeah, going back to Matt's.com, I think that's a great idea. If we have a written agreement, that would be a very worthwhile thing to do, because as the commission changes, people are going to know that needs to be done.
Well, and I would imagine that a well-groomed trail doesn't just benefit the mountain bikes, it's going to benefit the hikers too, right?
Yeah, everyone likes them.
All right, so maybe that's something, should we be talking about that now, or do we need to kind of regroup and talk about it after?
Matt, do you guys have some kind of standard agreement that you give to the towns?
No, it's been, each town's asked for something a little bit different. Like, for example, Wyndham, it was really just, we went to the Conservation Commission meeting and answered a couple questions for them. And they said, okay, that's good enough. So kind of like what Merrimack had done historically, I answered all the questions that you folks had, and it was just okay. Yeah. But Londonderry has a different structure. They have their Conservation Commission, and then they have Londonderry Trailways, which is sort of like a trail advocacy organization in Londonderry. So because there was that, partnership, they wanted an actual agreement. So both of them kind of scripted this agreement and sent it over to us. And, it really, there wasn't much to it, but they just wanted to know the list of people that were going to be operating it. And yeah, it was pretty cut and dry. We had, the problem we had in Merrimack is I taught a lot of people how to use it, but most of them were physically unable to use it because it really is a bear of a machine to, fight through the woods. And, Pete Micholichuk, who was formerly on the Horse Hill subcommittee, he would go out and snowshoe prior to grooming. And when you groom behind somebody that's already snowshoed, it's a lot easier. So, you know, members of the organization weren't just grooming, they were also like snowshoeing to prepare the trails for grooming.
Okay.
So is there a charge or anything for this, Matt, or is this something that members just do?
Oh yeah, no, it was something that they just do. It, like you said, a lot of the problem was you'd get people that would go out there and hike without snowshoes, and you know they'd leave the big, deep, what we call post holes.
Yeah.
And you know, trying to ride behind that was just brutal. So you know, you'd hope that people would go out there on snowshoes, but oftentimes not. They'd just go out, you know, walking their dog just on with their boots, but it would make the trails just, you know, no fun for, you know, not just bikers, but for like cross-country skiers too. Cross-country skiers with the big post holes, you know, they're trying to ski around that. But once you groom, then typically, you know, it sets a nice platform, and then the skiers and bikers and even the snowshoers, you know, a lot of times snowshoers will go out with the snowshoes, and they're the only ones that don't love the groomed stuff a lot. They like to make their own tracks. So you'll see right next to the groom track, you'll have snowshoers that walk over here. Like on the loop trail, you'll see that. There'll be like a section that's groomed, and then where the snowshoers walk, because they want that resistance. So yeah, but I was out there this winter in Wasserman, and a skier had caught up to me as I was grooming, and he was like, "Oh, thank you so much." Like he was, you know, really happy that we were out there grooming, because he could go really quick on the groom track. And you know, like you said, it is more than just mountain bikers that enjoy it, but it's a lot of work. I think we groomed probably 4 times in Wasserman and 3 times in like the loop trail in Horse Hill. But like, you know, trails like Twister and Blodgett Hill Bypass, there's no way we're gonna take the groomer through that, because it's, you know, it's like wrestling a bear when you're trying to go through those little trees. You know, the machine's pretty wide and it's long, so trying to get it through a tight trail like that is just, you know, not happening. But yeah, when you know, when fall comes around, if you want me to put something together just so that you have something, you know, for future commissions,
That would be perfect. Yeah.
yeah, glad to do it. I can even, you know, show you what other towns have, you know, give an example just so you can kind of draft off of that.
Yeah, I mean, if whenever you want to send it, because what we can do is, you know, it would be good to get it done in the summer, quite honestly, so that you're all set and ready to go, you know, October.
Great. Yeah, we've worked on one in our state plan with Pawtuckaway and Bear Brook State Park, but I won't send you that one because it's like 32 pages of, you know, state bureaucracy around running a machine in the woods.
Yeah.
I'll send you one of the town ones.
Yeah, that would be good. That way we can all talk and make sure everybody's on the same page, and, you know, no one has any issues with it that they're, you know, not talking about tonight.
Great.
Hey, Matt, since you're on, can I share my screen and just ask you a question on something?
Sure.
Here it comes.
I hope it's multiple choice.
Ever seen this gravestone out on the Willie's Trail or something like that? Let me, sorry, I'm trying to make it so you can see it. Here, let's see if I can make it bigger.
No.
No? Okay. Yeah, it's out right around here. Well, maybe that's not Willie's. That's the other trail. Sorry, make it bigger. GPC trail.
Okay.
Okay. Yeah, it's apparently about 10 or 15 feet off the trail. So I'm trying to, I'm curious who left it behind so we can do it some justice, but I haven't really advertised it because I didn't want it to get vandalized either, because it looks like someone put some energy into doing this. So for a loved one, or probably. So
Yeah. What's the, what are the dates?
it's September of 1915 to March of 1986.
So that's been there.
Yeah.
Yeah, but it looks like the plaque is a little newer, but you can see that there's definitely some, rusting or metal that's kind of dripped down the rock here. But yeah.
No, I've never seen that.
Okay. All right. Yeah, I think I'll reach out to Anita or someone to see if they know about it. So, so a friend of mine who walks that trail quite a bit noticed it in the woods a while before the snow, and I've been poking around to find people who might know about it, but I didn't want it to become very public in case it is a family only kind of memento. So
yeah, that if it's where the arrow is, that is on private property.
Right. Yeah.
Yeah.
Oh yeah, you're right. Yeah. Yeah. Now that I can see the shading, you're right. It's private property. Okay. Good to know. All right. Thanks, Matt.
Yeah, my pleasure. I'll let you guys resume your meeting, and it was nice seeing you.
Good to see you, Matt.
Thank you, Matt. Good to see you.
Take care, Matt. See you in a bit.
Hey.
Thanks, Matt.
All right, the next item we had on the agenda under new business was the Horse Hills Nature Preserve ex officio. Before we discuss it, someone like to make a motion to take that off the table?
I will make a motion to take from the table the appointment of an ex officio member to the Horse Hill Nature Preserve.
Second.
Wait, who seconded?
Gage.
Mike can have it.
Now it has to go to whoever does it first.
I heard Gage.
Okay.
By roll call vote, I'm a yes. Mike Boisvert,
Yes.
Gina,
Yeah.
Cindy,
Yes.
Gage,
Yes.
Eric,
Yes.
Tim.
Yes.
Motion carries 7-0. We've talked about this. I think this is the third time we've taken this off the table. Eric probably wasn't with us last time we discussed it. We do need to, and I'm sure we have the right person. We just need to identify the person who would like to be the ex officio for the Horse Hill Nature Preserve Subcommittee. Would anyone like to evangelize about what an exhilarating post this would be?
I'll do it. I'll take it.
Yay! Thank you, Eric.
That would be wonderful, Eric. We can figure out, we're still trying to figure out how we can line up a meeting schedule. I know Gina's reached out several times to a couple of subcommittees to try to see who's interested in joining us in this forum. But hopefully in the near future, we can go back to in-person meetings for those who want to also.
I asked Sharon to put Horse Hill on for the next meeting. So it'd be what, the April 6th meeting, I think it is. Or not the April 6th. What is it, April 3rd?
Fifth.
I think so.
I think it's April 5th.
Okay. All right, let's get a motion so we can get that going. So I'll make a motion to appoint Eric Starr as ex officio member of the Horse Hill Nature Preserve Subcommittee for the remainder of the 2020 to 2021 term.
Second.
Yay.
Excellent. I am a yes. Mike,
Yes.
Gina,
Yes.
Cindy,
Yes.
Gage,
Yes.
Eric,
Yes.
Tim.
Yes.
Fantastic. That motion also carries 7-0. Thank you very much, Eric.
Thank you, Eric.
Just a matter of housekeeping, I was so excited to talk about the Sauhegan River Trail project that we never voted on that motion. Just as a formality, can we go back and do that for the record? I was a yes. Mike,
Yes.
Gina,
Yes.
Cindy,
Yes.
Gage,
Yes.
Eric,
Yes.
Tim.
Yes.
Thank you. Moving on, old business. We have no items on the agenda under old business. Other business. There really aren't any subcommittee updates unless someone has something I don't know about that they'd like to discuss. No?
Can I just point one thing out? We have maps now. I am terribly excited, and I would like to thank Frank at Paper Graphics because we have 1,000 maps for Horse Hill, for Wildcat, and for Greater Woods. I went up and I loaded the kiosks up. I didn't load BB Lane up though, Mike. But yes, we have maps. So I will get maps to, I don't know, Gage, do you want some Greater Woods? Trade me some Wasserman for some Greater Woods.
Sure.
Cool. And Eric, I can give you some Horse Hill. And I'm going to be giving my subcommittee members some of the maps too. But yes, a huge thank you to Frank from Paper Graphics. If you guys don't have a problem, I'm going to put something on the Conservation Commission, not on the Conservation, on the Merrimack forums, just to let the community know that there are some maps, and to thank Paper Graphics for those.
And we probably should include that this is not the first time he's done this. This is the 4th or 5th time that he's donated these materials in time to get these maps to us.
Yes, and he did say that he would provide the panorama too, if you wanted to get a picture.
Okay.
So, and I also have I have 2 other signs for you, Gage. At some point, I'll give them to you.
Okay.
Okay. Anything else under other business? No? Okay. Next, we have the presentation of the minutes.
I couldn't find the minutes this week. Were they on one of the emails?
Yeah, Sharon had sent them. They were attached to the email that Sharon sent. She did say that the emails were coming out. Some of the emails were kind of getting lost and a little slow. So I'm not sure.
There's a medium in which you read your messages. It's called it's a conversation mode. So anything with the same subject title gets put under another message. So it only works well when people use really good email etiquette and change the subject. So you can have people just respond to a text or respond to a message and they don't change the subject, and that gets buried under something else. So if you like your email that way, that's great. If not, you should probably go in and turn conversation mode off, so you see each message show up on its own.
There's also an option when you're signing in that you can go in and you can choose a light method.
Yeah.
And I went into light and it brought me back to the old way, which I just prefer. So it's just easier for me. I'm an old dog. I don't want to learn any new tricks. All right. Can I make a motion then? I will make a motion. Where am I? I will make a motion to accept the Merrimack Conservation Commission meeting minutes dated March 1st, 2021.
I'll second. Motion by Gina, seconded by me. I vote yes. Mike,
Yes.
Gina,
Yes.
Cindy? Cindy? Cindy's on mute.
Yes.
Oh.
Sorry, mouse move.
I kept clicking
Gage?
it.
Yes.
Cindy, you can take time to think about these if you want when they come to you. That's fine. Eric,
Yes.
Tim,
Yes.
who would like to go first?
I will start on page 1 on line. Need a ruler for this. Am I on 21 or 22? Matt Peterson. I looked him up on LinkedIn. He's Peterson. On page 3, line 7, plow down the aisles. I'm going to put an A in front of aisles. On page 4, change Peterson in, there's 4 different spots where Peterson needs the E change to O. You could just do a find and replace. Let's see, on page 7, line 36, I would say it's a conscious decision, not a conscience decision. Also on page 7, line 44, filled in by instead of my, Commissioner Druin. On page 9, line 9, I went back and I checked the tape. It's the commission thanked Mr. Fairbanks for his participation. And the last one on page 11, line 4, it's Chair Perkins, not Chair Perry. And that's all I have.
Thank you, Gina.
You're welcome.
Anyone else?
Yeah, I spotted one problem. Let me just find out what page it's on. Yeah, so on page 7, line 36, it says a conscience decision was made. It should be conscious, as in CONSEIOUS.
Maybe they were in turmoil trying to decide what to do.
Anyone else? All right, well, we vote to approve the minutes with changes as noted. I vote yes. Mike?
Yes.
Gina?
Yes.
Cindy?
Yes.
Gage?
Yes.
Eric?
Yes.
And Tim?
Yes.
Motion carried 7-0. I do not see any members of the public on for public comment. So we have none of that to receive at this time. Commissioner comments. Mike, anything for the commission?
Yes. So I'd like to follow up with Kyle and try to see if we can get the town to cut, because there's like, and this is just what I found, there's got to be 5 2-foot or bigger in diameter pines that are across trails, because those biking trails zigzag so much. If a tree's going to fall, they're going to fall across the trail somewhere on those biking trails. So I'm going to check with Kyle to see if the town, and I could meet them or whatever and see if they will cut the trees. Because I'd be, I mean, I don't mind doing it once in a while, but these are big trees and there's a lot of them.
Thank you.
Matt had a great point too about maybe, we shouldn't be in too great a rush on some of these trails that are prone to abuse and being damaged this time of year. Maybe we do want to, make a decision to wait a few weeks with some of these.
Yeah, what's going to happen on some of these trails is people are going to start a trail around the trees. The trees will be blocking the way, so they're going to go around. And so a trail, like another false trail, will get started around the tree wall. So, and it might take them a while before they get out there anyway. I don't know.
Great point. Anything else, Mike?
That's it.
Gina, what do you have for us?
Just want to remind people that spring is coming and the starlings and the red-winged blackbirds are here and the chipmunks are waking up. So that means the bears are waking up. So watch your bird feeders, peoples. If you notice a bear at your bird feeder, take it in. Probably you need to get the bird feeders in within the next couple of weeks anyway. So that's all I have.
Thank you for that reminder, Gina. Cindy?
I don't have anything. Thank you.
Gage?
Yeah, it's mud season. So, piggybacking on what Mike's talked about and what Matt talked about, we have trails that I know everyone's been cooped up and inside and wants to get out, and we got some nicer weather coming. Please stay to the pavement for now. Walk, go up and walk around the school or do whatever, but we can stay off the trails for a while, let the water saturate out, and we'll have much better luck on the trails in the spring and summer.
Excellent. Thanks, Gage. It's a good reminder. Eric?
No comment.
How about you, Tim?
I am all set.
Fantastic. The only question I had is, Gage, did you try? Were you able to successfully order the seedlings?
I got a confirmation from the state that they received our check and they've processed the order. They've not gotten back to me about whether we had any substitutes. So, as I said before, I had to change the order quite a bit because there was already a lot of things out. But supposedly, we're going to be getting some seedlings.
Oh, that's fabulous news. I think you know this, but when we got a few weeks left, we got at least a month left, I guess. But I'm happy to go up there and pick those up whenever we need to.
Okay.
That's all I had. Well, if there are no other comments, thank everyone for participating and have a wonderful night.
Hey, motion to
no,
adjourn.
I can't do that yet. We need to do something else. Would someone like to make an motion?
Tim did.
He did?
I'll
I
second.
did. Yeah.
Tim made a motion to adjourn. Gage seconded. I vote yes. Mike?
Yes.
Cindy?
Yes.
Gina?
Yes.
Gage?
Yes.
Eric?
Yes.
Tim?
Yes.
All right. Have a great night, everyone.
Good night.
Bye, everyone.
Thanks. Bye.
Merrimack TV is committed to our community. From gavel-to-gavel coverage of town and school board meetings to updates on town services and projects, we aim to keep you connected.
Good morning. I'm Kyle Fox, Public Works Director for the town of Merrimack.
Hi, I'm Diane Trippett. I'm the town clerk tax collector for the town of Merrimack.
I'm Captain Matt Tarleton with the Merrimack, New Hampshire Police Department.
And keep the public informed of every motion
All those in favor signify by saying aye. Aye.
and many moments, so you can be confident that we're here for you. Thanks for watching. Stay connected. Follow Merrimack TV on Facebook.